What is up, everyone? It's CPC Penguin. Today we're covering the State of Rusfor, which, given some of the recent developments, I feel should be talked about. If some of the things I mentioned in this video are false, I would like to apologize in advance. I'm not too well connected to the Rusfor scene overall. I'm simply just speaking from what I know personally, and I do this hobby for fun. Some of the big developments in the gear supply chain are that Damage Gear Bakery is leaving the Rusfor scene. After sharing DMs with him on Instagram, I learned that he is leaving because of the new Russian customs laws. The law that he's talking about isn't specified. Damage also claims that he is not getting enough profit to continue operation, and that, of course, causes him a lot of headache. When I asked him for more information, simply he reminisced about the golden age of Rusfor gear collecting, and for him that was from 2011 to 2016. Furthermore, he laments that people treat the hobby as another means to flex on people, which when it comes to rare items is definitely true. He goes on to express his dislike for newer gear, calling it soulless. He's definitely a fan of the 1980s, 1990s, early 2000s sort of era of Russian kits. I asked him if he was going to have anyone inherit his storefront, and he firmly stated no. The last comment he made was that he's essentially making an exit plan. While Damage leaves the scene, Tanky Store and Cossack Bay both are still very reputable for sources of gear. Cossack Bay is the main source for anything government contracted, like Fort, Armacom, Classcom, etc., and is located in China. I asked Cossack Bay for any insight and what he would like to say to anyone who is joining the Rusfor scene. His response was that a lot of people in the Rusfor gear supply chain would like to scam. Case in point, the whole Soyuz gear debacle with Wallace, and to simply have fun when collecting gear and throwing together something. Tanky Store, meanwhile, is the go-to for any commercial Russian gear like 545 Design, Gearcraft, NBC, and Carbid, and is located in Florida, though his shipping process primarily involves getting gear from Russia, then to China, and then, of course, on to Florida. Tanky Store seemed to be too busy to comment, so we'll just hope that everything is going smoothly for him. I also reached out to Wallace, and he just said this. For anyone looking to buy a Russian kit, I would say that you have to pick what images or organizations you want to LARP as very carefully, since some organizations like the MVD, Sober when they're just wearing full black, Oman and FSO might be a little bit more difficult to make impressions of in the coming months, especially if the majority of the kit is not commercial. Aside from that, it's still not impossible per se to make a Russian kit. The current meta, however, favors Russian soldiers in the SMO, which is the easiest way to get involved. I also want to discuss the airsoft gun side of our hobby, which of course is going to be a major part of it. We have a new release from Raptor, which is the SR2M. The gun has been received either as very mediocre or absolutely terrible with very QC and reliability. I myself took a look at the gun when I was at EVEC Alhambra, and a lot of the problems already showed themselves, from bad materials, bolts that got stuck, also just the gun is covered in oil. Aside from Raptor, we've also seen developments from VFC's AK-GBB line in the form of AK-105 and the AKM. Aside from AKs, we're also seeing the Grach and their Stechkin being in development. I spoke to an EVIC employee of whether or not they're going to be stocking the new VFC releases, and what he could confirm was that the Grach was going to be stocked, though do take this with a grain of salt because they haven't even stocked the VFC AK line at all, and it's been months after they've been released. Aside from industry releases, we've also seen DIY developments of the MWS-based SVT-40 from Kevin DB on YouTube, which should be fully finished. It uses the MWS nozzles, and it uses the MWS 20-round magazine that is then put into a magazine shell or something like that, and then can be DIY made. Aside from that, if you liked this video, go ahead and like it. If you didn't, you know what button to hit. I am CBC Penguin, and thank you for watching.